it down. The opponents throw 400 total yards on the ground for the BC offense, 179 for Jernigan and 169 for Bubba Nettles. I mean, it worked. You can't throw interceptions when you're handing the ball 40 times.
I agree with you 110%. Kenny, I think we could hear you now, my friend. Let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. You've been harping on this for weeks. We needed some sort of play from the defense to make some plays and get some touchdowns to turn this entire thing around. Talk about that, because you got plenty of those in this game.
You know, I'll say it during the broadcast. I hate it when I'm right. You know, there's a time when you need defense to create opportunities to make the team more energized. When you get a guy like Richard Gooden picking the ball off and taking it to the house in the first quarter, there's an excitement and a contagious energy that happens. You know, and it was just beautiful to see the defense have an opportunity to do that and create the energy that we've been lacking on the offensive end. And I've always talked about it. All it takes is one play. You know, find a way to turn a defensive turnover into a score, and that generates the offense. That one pick to the house turned into, I want to say, maybe 5 or 6 turnovers later in the game throughout the defense.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, you were talking about it many, many times, and I have to agree with you. When the defense is able to turn it around, when they're able to find a score, especially a pick six, it ignites the entire team. But like I asked Rob, how big was this win? Because I mean, again, we're on a 4 or 5 game slide. The bowl games seem kind of out of reach right now, although not fully out of reach. But I mean, we're pretty dang close to it. And we desperately needed a huge win. I know we've been going up against some big teams around California, but talk about this one and how much this was just necessary for the team to get back on track.
You know, I feel like that win itself maybe helped the next 2 or 3 seasons. Because if you finish a year like this where you're 3-7, you know, 2-8, now you're losing the community. You're losing those kids that want to go up and play.
Right.
But when you turn it around and you put a 60 burger up, it reminds people that, hey, man, maybe they're just finding themselves. And for coaches, you know, I talked about this for the coaching staff. It was great to see them say, hey, guys, we love all of you, but this is who we're going to lean on today. And by doing that, you're able to gain some favor of the players that have been working their tails off all year and know they have the capabilities. I've said that every week. You have the personnel to be good. Now you believe in them and you're giving them an opportunity. We had a series where we ran the ball, you know, from first quarter to second quarter, probably 15 times in a row. We have never done it. By doing that, you're telling everybody else, hey, sorry about your feelings, but this is what's going to work and this is what we're going to do. And that's how you gain favor with the community, with your locker room, and your coaching staff.
I agree with you 100%. Rob, let's talk about a little bit on the offensive side. We've been talking about this the last couple of weeks, the need to find one quarterback. Do you think that maybe Carson's play in this game has really solidified himself as that quarterback?
Honestly, I don't think so, because of the fact that they did so well on the ground. They're going to get some guys in there, or, you know, they're going to get both of those guys in there to be able to hand the ball off, because really that's what it is. And depending on how the tempo goes. And again, I don't want to overlook Orange Coast. They're struggling. They're 0-8. You know, but they just did have a fantastic game against Canyons. They almost beat Canyons in Santa Clarita. But they're trying to essentially tune things up. And like Kenny was saying, they're doing things to be able to highlight what the strength of their recruiting was. And the fact is that they brought in one of the best running back rooms you can find, around. I mean, even Jason Grant, who probably could have went and played at an NAIA or a Division II school right out of Centennial, he's a number 3 guy. But you've got a guy like Jernigan, Nettles. Both of those guys are going to be playing some big-time college football next year. But, you know, it's going to give Malachi, it's going to give Carson both opportunities. It's a little bit.
Uh-oh. I think we lost you, Rob. I'm pretty sure you may have hit a dead zone, unfortunately.
Okay, what? Can you hear me?
There you are. Yeah, back up like 5-10 seconds. We lost you for a little bit there.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. But But I think they're going to give both of those quarterbacks an opportunity if they get a good enough lead to kind of show it off a little bit. So this way they can get them to the next level. Like what Kenny was saying, what we're trying to show the community is, hey, look, there's an opportunity for some of these local guys to get a couple of years here to really hone their craft and get onto a great program right after that. I think that's going to be it for these two quarterbacks. And again, they're sophomores. This is the last time they're going to be playing at Memorial Stadium.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about this game coming up this weekend. What do we know? What are the matchups we should be looking out for? And are we looking at a back-to-back win here?
I truly feel like, in moments like this, statistics and individual players mean very little. I think the last game that we had is an example of us being at a focus point, and it's showing what we can do regardless who's on the other side of the ball. With Orange Coast, they've struggled all season, but they did play well versus Canyon. And I feel like these kind of teams can always be those trap games where you're feeling like, oh, we just blew somebody out, we're going to roll somebody over.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you got to respect these guys. They have a beautiful facility. I don't know if you've ever seen Orange Coast College, but it's one of the most beautiful campus settings in California. And maybe that's why they're not playing so good. I mean, it looks like a beautiful place to go to school.
A lot of distractions in these areas.
And that's hilarious.
Rob, what about the offensive side? What should we be looking for? I mean, are we looking for a big game from the running backs once again?
Yeah, much the same. You're going to see the beginning part. Really, the bulk of the plays. They're also going to show off their offensive line because you got a lot of guys on that line that are going to be fantastic, at the next level. So you'll look to see a lot of runs. And then when they get a chance to top off that defense, they're going to do so. They get, Orange Coast, one thing that they do is they actually don't give up some of the teams that we've actually played so far this year, but they are a defense that can be had. And if we're doing the same things that we were doing last week, I don't see us having too big of a struggle, but like Kenny said, got to respect all the opponents. Mm-hmm. But look for a lot of carries.
Fantastic. We love to hear that. And obviously Smash Mouth football is fun to watch in my opinion, but I mean, I'm just one guy. But we got to take a break real quick here, gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time as always. We will talk to you next week and good luck this weekend. Oh, and also if you're looking to listen to this game, I apologize, I should speak this out as well. You can listen to it right on our sister station of Kern Radio 96.1 FM, 11 a.m. Hopefully, by the time the game is starting, we will have the AM station back up, as well as online at kernradio.com. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Have a great week, guys.
Drive safe, Rob. We'll talk to you guys soon. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM. Stream is back up. We got it up here about halfway through that conversation with our guys, Kenny Calvin and Rob Chavez. I want to thank them for all coming on and talking all things BC football, as they always do. And again, I tried to warn you guys last week before this major win from them. You want to go out there and see them. You really do. It is a lot better of a football team than people give them credit for, and that record does not dictate how good they really are. They've gone up against some of the best teams in California, and to be honest, yes, they haven't gone their way, but they've still put up pretty good fights. And any other team that's anywhere not in that top 10 range ain't got a chance. Ain't got a chance. So go out there, support your Renegades. Trust me, it's something that you guys want to do. And at the end of the day, like Kenny said, the more people out there, the more of these local kids see, hey, maybe I do want to stay here and play 1 or 2 years. Maybe I didn't get into the college I wanted to, and I have opportunities for myself. It's always a good thing. It genuinely is. Let's talk a little bit more about this, or about the stuff going on in the world of sports today. We've talked so much about this Phil Jackson and Nick's situation, obviously them blaming Carmelo Anthony. The other major story coming out of the NBA are these vignette interview videos, I suppose you can call them, for Michael Jordan and this entire new partnership that he has with the NBA's broadcasting team. And the most recent ones that have come out, the MJ's Insights to Excellence, he criticizes load management in the current NBA and how much of a problem it is, and how much he sees that there really shouldn't be load management, period, in the NBA. I mean, he is from the era in which if you didn't play 82 games, you really didn't get the respect of being an NBA player. So I kind of understand where his feelings and his opinions come into all of this. But what are your thoughts, Spark? I mean, I don't think anybody was really surprised that MJ wasn't a fan of load management, right?
You see that with all former players.
I think so too.
From that time, that I mean, they all call him soft. They all call me. I mean, I've been listening to Rodman for 10 years talking about the same thing. It's nothing new.
I mean, again, that's what I mean. I mean, I don't think anybody expected any other answer from Michael, but does it hold more weight because it's coming from Michael? You know what I mean? Like some of these other guys, you could kind of wave off. I mean, I think if a NBA champion who does load management is getting grief from Charles Barkley, you could probably sit there and say, okay, whatever, Charles, like you didn't win a ring, I did, kind of a thing. But because it's coming from Michael, I mean, there's got to be a little more validity to it, right? I mean,
I mean, he said it 10 years ago in his documentary.
It's true.
He did a whole episode on that, just that. I'm not surprised or shocked, and I still back it. It's a whole different type of basketball, and it's a lot softer. So I don't understand why these guys that are supersized compared to the players that were playing in the late 80s and early 90s, that they should be able to play longer seasons, not take a couple weeks off here and there. And I just don't understand it.
I can't remember exactly who said it. I don't know if it was you or if it was Daily Dave when he called in and mentioned the technologies that we have now that are made to, you know, make it easier on the body, allow the healing process to happen a little bit easier. And obviously NBA players and NBA teams have access to most of these things. So you would assume that it would be easier for these guys to be playing an 82 game season. I think in the world we live in today, I don't know of a lot of people in general in sports or in their regular lives as normal people who go to work every single day. So I don't necessarily blame them for the load management thing, but when it gets to a point where you're only playing 50 games in the year and you weren't hurt, now we're having an issue.
I just think they're softer.
I personally think they need to put it into the contract where if you don't play a certain amount of games of your own volition, obviously, if you get hurt or something like that, it'd be voided. But if, say, you're an NBA player and they put into your contract, you have to play 72 games out of the 82 in order for us to pay you your full contract.
I think what the NFL does.
I think that's fair. I genuinely do, because I think there is an issue in terms of these guys sitting out too much. But at the same time, I kind of get it. I kind of understand, because again, everybody else has their entitlement, or bad word for it, but everybody else is entitled to sick days and days off and vacation days, but NBA players aren't.
That's ticky tack.
I know. Again, it's
Considering
the
they're making-
argument though that I
They're
hear
making
from
triple
people. That's
what
what I'm
these
saying.
guys were playing in the 90s and 2000s.
100%. And again, I'm not saying that he's wrong for his comments. I'm just saying I kind of get it. I kind of understand both sides
They
of the
just
argument.
can't be upset when they are called soft.
No, 100%. Yeah. And that I don't think is even questioned anymore. I'm pretty sure everybody in the world knows today's game is much, much, much softer than the games back then. I mean, you can't really argue with that anymore. Just the way they played is much softer than the way they play now is much softer than the way they played back then.
And I think a lot of those teams back there were playing for their home teams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There was much
it was
more
a
loyalty.
respect for being in loyalty. Exactly. Playing for these teams. And Jordan has said it multiple times. You know what I mean? I would feel horrible if a guy is working 3 jobs to take his son to see Michael Jordan.
And he doesn't get to see Michael.
He said it in the same interview last week about, you know, he hadn't picked up a basketball in 20 years, but the guy that he rented out an Airbnb out had his son show up, and he wanted to see Jordan make a free throw.
Absolutely. And again, I get that, and I get the arguments against it. The loyalty thing, though, I blame on the NBA. I'll give my thoughts on that after we talk to our guy Sal Bruno from 559 Fights right after this break. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 1230 AM, as well as streaming live every single day from 7 to 9 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We apologize for earlier. Our stream kind of messed up on us, so I had to start it all over. But we had to get it back up because our boy Sal Bruno is back in the studio with us from 559. Sir, good to see you again. Although, again, I apologize for what happened to you the other weekend. I mean,
it is what it is. That's the game,
Absolutely.
Just glad to be back though. Yeah, it's sometimes things don't go your way.
Get in front of the mic a little bit more, my guy. We can barely hear you. There you go.
There we go.
There we are. So let's talk about it. I mean, I personally got to watch it. I watched it over a little bit on YouTube too, just because I couldn't understand how these judges didn't see you as the winner. But obviously, it didn't go your way this past weekend. What happened in your opinion?
In my opinion, just bad judging, and there's a lot of factors that go into it. When you have a big promotion and there's a sports agency that has a lot of guys signed, they want to push these guys, a lot, and so they'll bring in small town guys like me. I'm not signed to nobody. I'm not managed.
Right.
I pretty much manage myself right now. So, they want to push these guys. They want to pad their record. They want to make them look really good. So, sometimes when it goes to a decision, even though you've done enough to win, it doesn't go your way at all. And that was the case for me. I thought, in the back of my head, I was delusional, I guess, in the fight because I'm thinking, all right, you're winning the fight right now. I thought I lost the first round. It was kind of close, and then he knocked me down at the end of it. So I was like, all right, they probably gave him the round.
Right.
So I need to push. So I pushed hard like the last 2 rounds, and I thought I pushed the pace, controlled the striking a little better, did a lot more damage with my striking.
100%.
And yeah, they called it a unanimous decision, raised his hand, and I was confused, but that's the game, man.
Yeah.
So
I mean, bouncing off that, do you see that? I mean, being on your own, do you see that more in your fights where you just really, if you don't knock these guys out, that's what you're feeling, that this is probably going to get pulled the other way?
Favoritism.
Well, yeah, that's like, it's history in fighting. You know what I mean? Look at it in every field of fight, like boxing, everything. Like if you go to another country and you fight over there and you don't knock that guy out and he's their champion, you think they're going to give you a decision?
No, it's 100%. Yeah. That's true.
So they'll rob you every time. Like, they don't care.
Right.
And like,
well, that's the wild part to me though. Cause I mean, I've seen the pictures that you posted as well on your social media of the differences between what you look like after the fight and the guy looked like after the fight. It's like, man, clearly one of these guys lost.
Brother, I'll tell you guys, the next day I was at work.
Right.
After that fight. And you know what? I fractured my foot. You know how I fractured my foot? Kicking the guy. I fractured my foot kicking the guy. I had zero cuts, zero damage on my face at all. I think my jaw was slightly sore. It was a little sore.
You can look at yourself right now. You look like you just walked out of bed. Like, I'm not to fight at all.
I don't want to discredit like the guy at all. Like, he was a good fighter. He is a good fighter, and
he had talent.
And I give him credit. Like, he gave me a good fight, and like, his wrestling is amazing, and that's what we were obviously worried about.
Yep.
But like I thought it would go. I did well in the striking department. I thought I did a lot better and did a lot more damage, but Well,
I mean, me and you were talking about it before the segment started. There was a portion of the fight where you were laying down elbows on this dude.
Yeah.
I thought for sure you were going to knock him out at that point.
Yeah. Well, he's going for a takedown, and now, 12 to 6 elbows are legal now. They used to be illegal. So you just can't hit the back of the head.
Right.
And so I'm hitting, kind of these angled 12 to 6 elbows on his head and on the side of his head and on his face, and
the judges apparently just
away
at that point. Said,
it was funny. At one point, he kind of like put his whole head under my legs, and I was just like,
"How is this gonna work?"
Yeah. So it was funny, but yeah, I mean, I watched the footage. Like, he took me down once, and he held me there for 50 seconds, and then he had the knockdown. So
So that's an interesting thought real quick. Just popped in my head, not to cut you off, but when you go back and watch the tape of your fights, how in depth do you get with your just analysis of your own fighting? Like, do you really look at every single time someone takes you down? Okay, he took me down this long. I need to learn how to sprawl out at this point. Like, how deep do you go into your
I look at like, how are you holding me down? Like, how am I being held down? Like, what am I doing wrong to not straight rack up? Things like that. So there was a couple mistakes I made that obviously I got to fix, but it wasn't like he dominated me.
No.
It wasn't a unanimous decision for sure.
No.
If you want to call that a draw, I don't know, but I feel like I won.
I still can't.
But I just feel like I won, and it is what it is though. I can't complain about it. I can't
it's just on to the next one at this point.
Yeah, it's on to the next one, but it just sucks because it goes on your record, and that really messed my record.
Obviously, favoritism might have played a part in this, but do you think fighting these guys, regardless of how it ends, you're getting noticed by these guys, and maybe these?
Oh
guys
yeah, I mean, I'm still getting put on. I'm still putting myself on notice. As far as they could see, okay, this is an easy fight.
There's some positives that come out of everything.
Yeah, and
right?
I never have a boring fight.
That's for sure.
I thought all the fights were pretty boring on the card, except for mine was pretty good.
Well, I mean,
I love this guy,
between you and Jermon,
I'm just saying, man.
I mean, even before and after, I back Sal. So
100%.
But there was not to cut you guys off, but there was a lot that went into the fight before this. I could sit here and make 1,000 excuses of why
things happen.
I didn't perform well, but I work as well, and I worked the night before I cut weight. I worked a graveyard shift.
Oh wow!
And I went and cut weight, made weight, did all that, I had a lot of things that happened. I left my gym that I've been with for 8 years, 3 weeks before the fight.
What was the reasoning behind that?
It was a lot, man. It was just
okay.
It was an incident.
You don't got to get into it if you don't want to.
It was a little incident I had in the gym, and basically, coach said, you're not going to be part of the team anymore. You're not going to be part of the gym. You're not going to represent the gym.
Okay.
And I was in, that was 3 weeks notice, man. And so,
but you shook it off. You got ready for the fight.
So I had to go straight over to, to the boys that I train with that were from another gym, but we always linked up and trained together. And so my boy Rafael, shout out to Rafael and Arturo Burgos, because I went over there and they're right here, actually right down the street from you guys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Right over here. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Well, okay. Off the same road.
Well, let's not gloss over that though. Cause I mean, you leaving your gym 3 weeks before a fight is huge. I mean, if anybody's in contact sports, they know how big that can be and how emotional that can be. So you came into this fight in a completely different mindset than most people would have.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely changed your mindset.
Did you even have anybody in your corner during the fight then at that point?
Yeah, Arturo Burgos.
They actually came down and good.
And Rafael Jimenez are
because I'm sitting there thinking you're fighting there without a coach, without any no banner behind you now. That's some wild
those guys
stuff,
totally
man.
Took me under their wing and that's my gym now. So I'm over there with those guys. So I'll be training at Burgos Mixed Martial Arts here in Bakersfield. So
nice.
It's a small gym, but we have 3 professionals. Obviously my coach, he's fights too. And Rafael Jimenez is an up and coming fighter. He's actually going to be fighting for the 155-pound belt for VFS.
Nice.
Coming up soon.
Okay.
So,
very cool. We'll have to get him on for that as well.
Yeah. And Arturo's fighting for the belt as well. He's fighting for the 145-pound belt.
Nice.
So both of those guys are fighting for titles soon.
Absolutely. That's awesome, dude. Fantastic.
So what's next for you?
Yeah, really.
What's next for me is I got to heal my foot.
Hopefully a title shot at some point after that.
Yeah, I'm just sitting around sipping coffee, let my foot heal up for 6 to 8 weeks. And then
6 to 8, really?
Yeah, after that.
And there's nothing you could do for a fractured foot, too. That's the worst part about it. You kind of just have to let it
It's
heal
the top of my foot, too.
Ugh.
So it's I could put kind of weight on it.
But as soon as you put
it doesn't hurt too bad, but I can't I can't do anything with martial arts.
Any shifts or any back and forth. I can't.
I can't even squat or anything. I can't do nothing like that. So if I want to do any kind of working out right now, it's core and upper body workouts.
Out of curiosity, what is the worst injury you've had to deal with from your time as a fighter?
You want to be honestly, my thumbs.
Really?
I broke both my thumbs.
That's
at different points.
And
okay. Yeah, one in 2023 and one in 2024. It was a fun fact about me. I have bad thumbs. So any of you fighters out there, you
go after the
you want to target anything, dude, go for wrist locks on me.
Go
for the thumbs.
How did they break? Was it just striking and you kind of missed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, I was wearing small gloves and then we were sparring one day and I hit my boy.
I'm sitting there thinking
I
you're
hit
sparring
Isaac.
with somebody, they moved an opposite way and it took your thumb with it. Ugh.
Yeah, you remember Isaac? He was on the show.
Yes.
So I threw an overhand and I nicked Isaac on top of the head.
Oh, okay.
Because he's sporadic. You know, I'm moving with this guy, and his crazy footwork, and he moves in like boom fast, and I threw the overhand already, and so it just was bad timing, and it hit right here, like bad part of your thumb. So,
Ooh.
and I was like, yeah, it doesn't feel good. So I went to urgent care, and yeah,
they had to deal with a cast on your hand.
They X-rayed it. Yeah, they casted that one. This one, they did not cast, but this one they did. And this one they actually put pins in it too. So
so that one was
bad, you know. So it sucks not having a hand, but
wow, especially with your dominant hand.
A fractured foot's not too bad because you can still walk.
Right. Well, at least the top of it you can.
You break it though.
Yeah. Again, that's the weirdest thing about your hands and your feet is that you have to let them heal by themselves because there's nothing you can really do to restructure it. And it you're probably going to be feeling that.
It's kind of not the same either.
Yeah, you're going to be feeling that loose piece in there for a while.
Well, yeah, my thumbs don't feel the same. So.
No, it's so wild. Okay, so obviously we talked about you and what's going on next, but I have to get your thoughts on this entire Tom Espinal thing because I don't know if you got to watch it at all, but the eye gouging and all this that's been coming after it, he still can't see out of his. No, right
honestly,
eye.
that was like not. If watch that in slow mo, dude, that finger went in his eyelid and then
he hooked it.
And I think it maybe like went almost dang near to the middle of his finger.
Yeah.
So that was like deep.
What are your thoughts on that as a fighter yourself? Is there kind of like an unwritten thing between fighters, especially when it comes to these DQs or these illegal moves where it's like, you definitely don't want to see that guy again? Or is it one of those situations where I can't wait to get into octagon with you and just, make you feel every bit of pain you made me feel?
Well, it sucks when guys do dirty stuff like that and they like John Jones got away with that forever.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? So like,
I love John Jones, but he did a lot of questions.
When it's like a really good fighter and they're doing kind of a little bit of dirty stuff, I don't think that was intentional maybe, but it did look like he kind of,
I don't know. Everybody seems to think that was intentional.
Yeah. It didn't look intentional initially. And then it like seemed like once his finger was in there, he was like, oh,
it's like, well, I'm already here.
Well, I feel like an eyeball, so like, let me do a little damage here, I guess. Maybe, but yeah, I don't like it. It's a crappy situation.
Does it obviously it kind of deters you from wanting to fight the guy, right? Because you think he's just going to be dirty against you.
Yeah, a little bit, but also, yeah, he should want to get that one back because he's like, the undefeated champ. He's never went to a decision, which is insane. So. For him to, for that to happen, it's like he's got to get that one back,
right?
And then he had the whole John Jones controversy, like he was supposed to fight Jones,
and
so now Jones is kind of laughing at him, like, well, look what I did to him, and you get eye poked and cry about it, so it sucks.
Yeah,
but I feel for Aspinall, honestly.
I saw that and I immediately was just like, there's got to be some sort of like behind the scenes thing where Aspinall probably ran up on him and said, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, maybe
me in the eye.
Yeah,
like there's got to be some, or at least in my head, like if there's a dirty fighter, I don't know if it makes you want to fight him more just to teach him a lesson, or if you don't want to fight him at all just because of his dirty tactics.
There was another guy, an old school guy in the UFC, and he would hold on to submissions.
Really?
And the ref would try to pull him off, and he would like be heel hooking guys, like tearing their ACL and their MCL up, like ruining their careers.
I remember watching Dan Severn do the same kind of stuff.
I feel bad. I forget the guy's name. He's a Brazilian guy, but he got kicked out of like a couple different promotions for this. And the UFC was like, yeah, no.
Yeah, see,
but he was actually like a phenomenal fighter, but he was a psycho.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when you're putting
he's a psycho.
Everybody's careers on the line like that, dude. I don't know if I want to fight a guy like that. Just because like you're trying to make your money.
Yeah, man.
And if it goes like that and the guy rips your ACL and you can never fight again.
How do you want it? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
You get guys that beat the hell out of you, and then do you want brain damage or
exactly
submission guys like he might tear your knee up. So it's a rough sport, dude.
Which one do you usually lean towards? Are you one of the guys that would prefer a striker or somebody that would be more submission?
If their striking sucks, I kind of prefer a submission guy.
Really?
Yeah, it just depends how good their grappling is, though.
Okay. So it's just all a strategic thing at that point. You never know.
Yeah. Yeah. If they have great wrestling and jiu-jitsu, it's like it's tough, man.
Well, that's what I keep hearing. Well, I think you were the one to tell us the wrestlers were the best fighters, right? Was that him or was that Jermont?
I mean, they're the most dominant. They seem to be the most dominant.
That's what it was. Yeah.
That was pre-fight.
That was pre-fight. And again, obviously it worked out for you even when the judges didn't think so.
You get the rare cases like Alex Pereira, where it's like a straight up striker that has great wrestling defense, and and they just knock everybody out. So,
well, talking about fighters who are fantastic strikers, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was Anderson Silva making this sub over to boxing.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? On fighters bouncing back and forth between UFC and boxing? Do you see yourself potentially doing that at one point in your career if it does go that route? Like, is that something that everybody kind of brings up now that Connor's kind of already created that bridge?
Yeah, honestly, Connor created like the formula for that. I think it's good for dudes that have a big name and they could, you know, honestly, at the end of the day, dude, what are we doing? We're trying to get a big paycheck.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So like that paycheck gets bigger and bigger and bigger as your career goes on. And so like usually by the time that they're that age and they want to box, that's a huge money grab. And it's like money that the UFC is not willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So when they get a name like Anderson Silva, UFC legend, greatest of all time, you know, people put all those names on him. Then of course, then,
promotion, the purse gets bigger.
I mean, what would I do if I got offered, you know, $5 million or, you know, something crazy to go fight? I would be like, yeah. Well, even if I knew like my chances of winning were not high, I would be like, well, I'm a fighter. Like I know I'm going to hold my own.
And at the same time, I mean, it's still the same. I don't want to say it's the same sport because it's not the same sport, but it's still the same concept. It's just combat sports, except obviously boxing. It's straight strikes.
It's way different. Yeah.
So
boxing is its own thing.
Yeah. So like when these guys make that transition, are you hopeful that they actually do well? Or are you one of those guys that like, because I know a lot of people that looked at it and said, oh, he's just going to get his butt kicked, walk away with a check and be happy.
I'm hopeful they do, like, don't get knocked out, don't get a ton of brain damage, and they make a big paycheck. That's my hope. I mean, if they win, then that's a huge like plus too.
Well, because I feel like UFC and MMA in general has just taken over combat sports. You don't know a lot of these names of boxers anymore like you do these UFC guys. So when the UFC guys go over to boxing and the purse gets a ridiculous amount of money, there's a lot of people that sit there and say, oh, it's a cash cow.
In some ways, MMA like boosted boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kept it alive
boxing and everything, but it did turn into a clown show a little bit because you got like, you know, mediocre MMA fighters that will go over and fight. I'm not going to say mediocre MMA fighters. I'm going to say mediocre boxers. As a boxer, they're very mediocre.
But MMA
fighter, they might be pretty good or great, but they're not great at boxing.
Right.
Yeah. And that's what we saw with a lot of like former athletes.
Yeah.
Will jump in and like, oh, I played football for 20 years. I could do that. And then they get knocked out.
I was just about to bring that up.
He actually won though. He was pretty good, dude.
He's the only one that I've seen that went into boxing that I'm like, oh, you could probably do boxing at the same time.
Yeah, he's got
Nate
a body
Robinson,
built for
not
it.
so much.
He's got the head for it.
Yeah,
like
he
Tyson,
does. Dude. Yeah.
No, Frank Gore definitely could take
got the
a couple
Minecraft head.
Yeah, that's cool. You know, I like seeing that stuff. But as long as these guys don't go in there with like a super good, like up and coming like boxer, that's when I don't like to see. It's like, all right, you're just setting him up to get knocked out really bad, and you're like putting that guy in a highlight reel. That's all you're doing. But
again, I just every time I think about it though, I don't know of a whole ton of these up and comers anymore. Because the biggest up and comer that I remember was King Garcia, who is not really seen right now because he's been suspended for the last year and a half or something like that.
Yeah, he's been going through a
lot of issues.
Stuff, yeah.
So it's like,
well, when you're that young and you make that much money, dude, it's got to be a weird experience, especially if you don't come from a lot.
Right.
I would imagine.
100%.
I don't know how that would have affected me. I didn't come from a lot.
No,
you hit that $5 million purse.
If I had like millions in the bank account right now, I might be a different guy.
I say the same thing, dude. And it just it sucks
good that
to
it comes
see.
slow. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I've been hooked on this bare knuckle fighting championship just in the last month.
That's starting to catch a lot.
And it is
attention.
killer, dude.
They offered me a fight.
Did they really?
There's a local, kind of a local scene going on at a casino here, pretty close by. It's like a Red Dog bare knuckle promotion. If I got that wrong, apologize. But it's crazy. They offered me a fight. I was
any thoughts of jumping in the bare knuckle realm?
Down, dude. I don't know, man.
No, I'm not gonna lie. There's a level of crazy that goes with bare knuckle.
Honestly, I said, you know what? I'd do it. This is my. I'll put it on there. You know, this is my stakes right here. I want an easy fight. You know, I just want a guy. I want a guy.
Somebody to warm you up a little bit.
Yeah, give me an 0-0 or like a debuter, whatever, dude. You know.
I mean, I think
I don't
that's
want
fair.
like a super legit boxer or whatever. You know?
I think that's a fair ask. I mean, this is your first match in bare knuckle. I
Hey,
feel
man.
like it should be their first match in bare
Give me an
knuckle.
easy guy. You know?
That's what I'm saying. I think that's a fair ask.
Also, just give me a good check too, because
Yeah, no kidding.
that check that
You would
damage
have to
is-
pay me a ton of money to do bare knuckle
The
boxing.
damage is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, one wrong block and your nose is broken, your eyes broken. I mean, I can't do it.
Stylistically, I honestly might. It might be pretty I might be pretty decent at it because just the way my style is. But I already know. Like, I hurt myself every time I fight.
Well, I mean, you were just talking about how the fact your thumbs aren't exactly the same anymore. So you walk into bare knuckle and you might lose the rest of your knuckles at the same time.
I don't want my
dude.
face to get any uglier.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far. But
hey. But that is it's. I
It's
mean,
fun to watch though, right?
Yes,
Oh, it's
I
a
was going to
great
say
thing to
watch. So fun to
I'm
watch.
hooked.
that's why I'm saying, like,
Mike Perry is my favorite
Mhm.
bare knuckle fighter. That guy is
Yes.
a nut.
And another guy who tried out boxing for a little bit there too. Took on Jake Paul, and that didn't work out for him.
I'd love to see Connor versus Mike Perry.
That would be interesting.
Bare knuckle.
I would. Oh, I don't know if Connor would do bare knuckle.
Bare knuckle.
I don't know if Connor would do bare knuckle
know.
anymore. I would love to see him try.
I think Perry might smoke him.
Oh, you might be right on that, dude. I'm telling you, there's a level
He's a
of
dog.
crazy to be a bare knuckle boxer.
You got to be a dog.
You really do.
And dude, even the women's division, that
Mm-hmm.
is entertaining, dude. And they're crazy. I'm like,
women's
It sucks. watching.
unpopular
Yeah.
opinion. Women's sports are way more furious and like vicious than men's sports.
It's nasty sometimes.
Dude.
and I forget the girl. She's all tatted up.
Watch-
She runs her mouth and she backs it, dude. And I love her,
If
dude.
you want to see some furious like sports from women,
Yeah.
watch women's soccer. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
They're mean.
Especially at the college level.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. I'm talking about pulling ponytails down.
Oh
like
wow.
they're full on fighting each other. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's still entertaining, but it's just one of those I can't understand why the heck you want to kill your opponent like
It's
that.
funny
but I
that
mean, hey,
remember back in the day, Dana was like, "There'll never be women to UFC."
right? And then
Uh-huh.
he
And
has
then-
Ronda Rousey come in, falls in love, and now he can't get enough.
You got Wei Lee, you got all these chicks that are
Yeah,
Fun
it's
to watch.
incredible. I mean, again, I think that's really been the growth in combat sports in general is the women's side of it because it really started with the UFC, but
It
the
is, yeah.
WWE has really kicked into the high gear. I mean, Sparky's talking about the bare knuckle. I haven't been able to watch the women's side of it, to be honest.
Well, look at
with
the
you,
views that it's pulling. You know,
but
like
yeah.
compare.
Well, look at Power Slap. Power Slap is
I
getting
can't
so
believe
much
that.
look.
that is.
Would you
just
ever
a line.
consider doing that one?
No,
No.
No, it is. It's ridiculous.
Never.
We're gonna do bare knuckle boxing, but you won't take a slap,
Never.
That just
Ah.
looks ridiculous.
dude.
I could not stand there and let somebody hit me.
Exactly.
You know,
You know what? That's fair. I would wince up so quick as soon as I saw the
dude, like
slap
30
coming.
mil, and I'll let Brock Lesnar slap me, dude. Like 30 mil. but
You're
that's-
gonna have to up that number for me.
One
That's
slap.
a big man.
One
Not
slap, bro.
happening,
He's only getting one slap,
dude. If he
that.
slapped you in this,
Whatever it
if he
is.
slapped me or you in this studio right now, we would go over the table.
Yeah,
That's
be
exactly
bad.
what. Oh my god,
But
as
30
a
mil.
big
his
man.
hand is probably the size of your whole face.
Yeah.
Have you ever met Shaq? He could palm your head. I could promise you that right now. He did it to me and my buddy, and it was the craziest thing on the planet, dude. He literally put his hand right on top of my buddy's head, and I said, "Please don't do that to me." Like, heck no.
That's so
But
funny.
dude, it is crazy. But my friend, thank you so much for your time. We will have
Yeah.
you back here pretty soon.
sure.
Obviously, you're in the off time, so go have your cake, go
Yeah.
enjoy it for
Hit
a
us
little bit.
up if you want to get your boys in here.
Absolutely. We
Let's
would
Oh
love to
let
have
us know.
y'all on.
sure. They're right down the street, so yeah, we can get them on. They can talk about their fight
Just
coming
a-
up and everything. So.
Hell yeah.
Walk on over, neighbor. You're
Yeah.
more than welcome on the show at any point in
Alrighty,
time,
guys.
man.
Yeah, I'll text you guys.
Sweet. Thanks, brother. We got to take a break real quick, pay some bills. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. Big thanks to our guy Sal Bruno from 559 Fights for coming and talking with us, and guys from BC Football, Kenny Calvin and Rob Chavez.
Home game, final home game of the season this Saturday.
Check it out, man. I'm telling you, this team is better than you think. They really, really are. I'm gonna harp on this.
My Dolphins.
Look, man, the record is not what it is. It really isn't. It's not how good this team is. I'm a firm believer in that.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
But we got a text we can take before we take a break. It says, Canty, I heard Canty saying that the Colts are the only team in the AFC that can beat Kansas City. Do you guys agree?
I have to really sit down and think about that.
I don't think the Colts can.
I think the Colts could. I mean, again, any given Sunday. I also don't think the Chiefs are really that good yet. I mean, again, we've seen 3 weeks of them play awful football.
They're beating teams in a half of a football game.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. I think the Denver Broncos could beat them. I mean, again, I know everybody's high on the Chiefs. I know why everybody's high on the Chiefs. They're the Chiefs. But again, something in the back of my head, something in the pit of my heart tells me this team's not unbeatable. I mean, there are a lot of teams that you can argue were unbeatable. This ain't them.
I think the Patriots could give them a run.
I think the Patriots could give them a run too. I think the Bills, if they got a good game, probably could give them a run.
We're about to find out this weekend.
Yeah, we really are. I think if Baltimore could figure their stuff out and have a ridiculous run, we could see them beat them as well. I think the Colts are a great, thing to look at right now because they're top of the AFC. As much as I would like to say they are real, and they are real, but I don't say they're the only team in the AFC that can beat them. I think Canty's probably saying that's the only one he can think of right now for sure that could beat them. But any given Sunday.
Yeah.
Any given Sunday could happen.
Because the Raiders could beat them. We've seen it.
We have seen it.
Not this year, but we've seen it. But
God, I wish we could have seen it.
We'll take a quick break. We'll get back into our Waiver Wire Wednesday and help you get through this week with the bye weeks or the injuries. I'm in the same boat. I've got Jalen in a couple leagues, and of course, the bye week hits.
I had 5 guys out last week on one team.
It's good, though, to get it over with.
Yeah, that's for dang sure. Let's take a break real quick. We'll give you guys our thoughts and our waiver wire picks on the other side. This is the Early Bird Special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. Welcome back. This is the Early Bird Special here on ESPN Bakersfield, 101.1 FM, 12:30 a.m. We are also streaming video live as the show goes from 7 to 9 in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can follow us on all of those platforms. There's plenty to look at on YouTube as well, old interviews, segments in the past. Plus, our Bump That series will be starting here very, very soon once we could figure out a day where all of us can get together and actually get it done. And, plenty more coming to the actual platform as well. So like, subscribe, share. We'll be going to the Raider games here in the next couple of weeks as well. So there'll be exclusive content on YouTube as we go through those. Let's also help you guys with your fantasy football leagues this week, as it is Waiver Wire Wednesday. And I got a couple guys here. I know Sparky's got a couple guys for you guys to check out. Let's start with you, Spark. Who you got at the quarterback position this week?
I'm going with Sam Darnold.
God, get out of my head.
80% of leagues, he's still available, and a streaming option while a lot of starters are out or injured this week. And plus, he's playing a beat-up Washington defense this week. So I'm going with Sam Darnold this week.
And we're talking about a guy who, again, we were talking about who's the MVP candidates and whatnot. Sam Darnold is making a very, very convincing argument why he should be in that conversation as well, especially with a brand new team. And honestly, one major target, that would be Jackson Smith and Jigba. Everybody else has kind of been silent throughout the rest of the season. But I mean, Sam Darnold has made his case. And to be honest with you, the Seattle Seahawks look really, really good with him at the helm. I have to agree with you. That's exactly who I had at the quarterback position as well. So I'll go to my running back real quick. My running back, Tyrone Tracy. It should be a pretty easy choice. If you still have availability of him in your leagues, I would pick him up. Again, he was a pretty solid running back for the Giants last year when they needed him to fill in. And the beginning of this year, not anything really to showboat about, but at the same time was pretty consistent. And I think he's going to continue that trend here with Cam Scadaboo out for the rest of the season and getting the majority of the carries for the Giants. So I would look for Tyrone Tracy.
I would totally agree with that one. I've got the same one. And I think the early Tracy we got was with Russell Wilson.
Yes.
So I think with this type of offense, I think he fits perfect with Jackson Dart. Also threw in just a mention is Bam Knight in Arizona. I think with Kyler coming back, hopefully, I think Bam at least can get you anywhere from 7 to 10 points if you're really that needy. Last week I had 3 of my running backs on a bye, so I had to I was picking at straws. I ended up picking up Chubb in a couple leagues, which he didn't get much, but he got more than a 0. So I needed that 7 points he got me. And then moving over to receiver, and I've used this guy several times, but I'm going to go with Boutte in New England. He's getting good. More targets.
And you guys still haven't picked him up yet. What's going on?
And I still, with the receivers, there's so many big receivers. So I know guys that fall to the waistline, but guys like him, he's getting more and more targets each week. He's almost like Gatson in with the Chargers. He's getting more and more targets.
I agree.
And now that offense is based around these guys. And, people that were getting digs early now are seeing, Boutte is getting more targets than him.
Absolutely.
And the other one was I wanted to throw out there because I had a couple guys ask me yesterday, but the number one receiver with the Raiders,
Jacoby Myers?
Jacoby Myers.
Is it Jacoby Myers still?
On paper, on the depth chart, he is. Obviously, Trey Tucker is getting more and more, but I believe their tight end should be back this week. And I think Myers might finally get his wish and get traded. So I would still hold on to him and see where he lands.
Honestly, Jacoby is a stud at the wide receiver position, even though the Raiders haven't exactly gotten him the ball very much. And I agree with you. I think Geno and Trey Tucker have really started to figure this out in terms of chemistry, and he really likes him some Trey Tucker. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if they just kind of say that's our guy from now on and move on from Jacoby. It's sad to say, though, because, the guy has been a stud for them for the past couple of years. My wide receiver for you to pick up this week is Troy Franklin from the Broncos. 22% rostered in most of your leagues right now, and this guy has scored about 29, 30 points in the last 2 weeks, 18 targets, 9 catches, 3 touchdowns. The guy's been a stud for Bo Nix. He's going against the Houston Texans this week, so it might be a little bit more of a rough going. He may be dropping down a little bit in those points. He got 26 for you last week if you actually had him on your roster like me. He may be back in the 10s this week, but the one I really want you to look at is the week afterwards as they head to play the Las Vegas Raiders. That is going to be a massive, massive game for Troy Franklin. I'm going to tell you right now, because Bo Nix likes to spread the ball around. He really likes him some Troy Franklin right now. And to be honest with you, I don't see that trend ending anytime soon. So I would ride with Troy Franklin if you can.
And I would bring up the Titans receiver, Dyke. I know he's young, and I know the Titans offense doesn't move a lot. But, I mean, these are 2 past weeks that he's got 20-plus points in fantasy.
Him and the other one, I'm going to butcher his last name, and I'm not even going to bring it up. It's the other rookie receiver they had that started the year really, really well as well. I like what Tennessee is able to do. They're still hot garbage, unfortunately. But if they can figure it out, get something moving here, maybe find a head coach that knows how to use Cam Ward's abilities and, develop them and make him better, Tennessee might be a team to look out for in the next 2 to 3 years. Just saying. Moving over to the tight end position, my only tight end for you this week is Jawan Johnson from the Saints. And there's a reason for this, because the Saints have decided they'll be going with Tyler Shuck this weekend at quarterback. And you know how I feel about rookie quarterbacks. They love their tight ends. And Jawan is definitely one of the easiest tight ends to throw to in the NFL. Every time he has a quarterback that really hasn't had a lot of experience, he's usually the number one target they throw to. I expect that to be the case with Tyler Shuck as well. So if you need a tight end right now, I would jump out and try to grab him because he's probably available in about 70% of your leagues.
Yeah, he was the number one tight end for the first month of football.
He really was.
And then I ended up dropping him, and now I'm seeing, okay, well, maybe with Shuck could bring him back in.
He had a couple good games in between there too, but you're right. He fell off for a couple weeks. I have a lot of faith that Tyler Shuck's going to find him this week.
But we were talking load management in the NBA and Jordan's comments on it. And before we take our final break, we've got Daily Dave on the line with his comments. What you think, Daily Dave?
Mr. Dave.
Hey, first of all, great segment with the UFC fighter. I think the person he's referring to that held those chokeholds too long were the Gracies. I used to be yelling at the TV, let him go. He's already tapped out. You know
what? I think you're absolutely right. Now that you say the name, I'm like, you know what? That was exactly what that man would do. So you're probably exactly right.
But before the load management now with basketball, the pitch count with baseball, the helmet tap with the football, Tommy gun surgery for baseball, all sports. There's been a big improvement in training in all sports. The lifting, the nutrition, the training, the cryo, everything. When I was playing back in the 70s, we had salt tablets. And then I think that in the 70s they came out with the orange drink. What is that? Gatorade, right?
Yep.
So, I will say the pitch count on behalf of Blake Snell, it cost him the World Series when he played against the Dodgers a few years ago, and they pulled him too early. Now I'm glad to see that our Dave Roberts, coach for the Dodgers, is letting our pitchers try to go the full count. Look at Fernando, Nolan Ryan. They used to go, 120, 130 pitches. So I'm not a big fan of the load management. And it cheats the fans who pays huge money. You want to go see LeBron for your first time, and he's sitting out.
No, that's 100% fair. And again, I get the gripes why people are against load management. I realize that. But again, I realize that the technologies are there to make it easier to heal and whatnot, but we're still all human. That is still something we have to remember. And at the end of the day, I can't say that every athlete is doing what, say, LeBron does in the offseason and spend millions upon millions of dollars to recuperate their body and be ready for the season. My point is just, I think the NBA needs to do something contract-wise where it tells them, hey, you get a certain amount of games that you could take off, just like any other person and yet at any other job. They allow them to take 5 games off in the year as load management. If you take any more than that, your pay starts to get docked. I think that's the easiest way to go about it.
That's a very good point, and I think the fans would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Especially that little boy that's been wanting to see LeBron his whole life, and maybe he's a Celtics fan too, and they're going to play Celtics in town at the Lakers, and then he shows up and LeBron scratch,
right?
He's laying on the LA beach taking in the waves, and the boys, crying in his popcorn, I guess.
It reminds me, my grandma was a die-hard Kobe Bryant fan before she passed, and she would stay up, Tuesday and Thursday night on off nights that you wouldn't think most people were watching the Laker games, and she would stay up late rooting on the Lakers. And when they did an exhibition game down here at the Rabobank,
and he didn't play.
He played for the
Oh, did he?
first 2 minutes. And I was
Oh.
like, that was at least some respect. And he said, I'm still nagging injuries and this is an exhibition game, but I know these people wanted to see me.
Right.
And it's just those little things like that.
Yeah, it's for the good of the game, really, in all sports,
That's
and
fair.
but there's good about it. Like I like when I see the guys tap their helmet, their gas, the lineman on defense or offense. They throw a young buck in there and he makes a crucial block, brings a runner for a touchdown or makes a tackle. I mean, there's good fundamental play in load management, but then there's also taking it too far, I guess. And you make a good point. Let them know what their load management number is, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think that's the fairest way to put it. Personally, I get everybody's gripe against it. I really do. And when you pay hundreds upon hundreds of dollars to go watch these guys play, you want to see your favorite player play. But the other argument I get with this too is kind of, you mentioned it. You get the young guns that you never would have seen at any other point in time. Like if we go back in time 20 years, 30 years, we didn't see those bench players as much. There were bench players that literally never saw the court. Nowadays, everybody gets to play. Everybody gets a chance to actually do something in the league. So maybe there are some good things that go with the load management as well that people just really don't take into consideration. But Dave, we appreciate your thoughts, my friend. Thank you so much. And we do agree with you. Load management just needs to be tightened back just a little bit. Just a little bit. You got to find something to appease your fans just as much as you appease the players. I think that's really the end of it. But we got to take a break real quick, pay some bills. This is the early bird special. On the other side, we'll let you know what we got for you guys tomorrow. Plus, there has been plenty more to talk about in the world of the NBA. We will get to it by and by. This is the early bird special right here on ESPN Bakersfield. My chair. Welcome back. Final segment of the day here on the Early Bird Special. Everything's messing up on me today. My chair just gave out on me. The streaming service don't like me today. It just hasn't been your boys' week. It really hasn't. But join us tomorrow. Our guy Bolt Brady will be rejoining the broadcast.
Let's see how much he bashes my Dolphins before they play the Ravens tomorrow night.
You never know. He might actually pick you guys. Well, I like to believe a little bit. I like to believe in that, man.
From
just
the
like
Believe
Ted,
Network.
Just like Ted Lasso, hit that thing up top, baby. We believe in this building. That's what it is. But we got plenty more to talk about in the world of sports. There is a Thursday night game tomorrow, as Sparky just said. The Miami Dolphins against the Baltimore Ravens. We'll let you guys know our thoughts on that tomorrow as we get you guys ready for that. Plus, Game 5 tonight. Dodgers, Blue Jays, pivotal game in this World Series. You can hear it right here on ESPN Bakersfield tonight, starting at 4 o'clock in the pregame. Game will start at 5.
Oh, wait. 5:08.
5:08. Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't mention earlier, but there was some moves yesterday in the NFL.
There
the
were.
Bears picked up safety CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's on his 3rd team this season. The Patriots traded their defensive end, Keon White, to the Niners.
Desperately needed for them.
And they also sent, which was a surprise to me, but safety Kyle Duggar to the Steelers.
I saw that.
I'm like, what?
Well, again, if you look at the teams that have been traded too, the San Francisco 49ers front 7 has been absolutely decimated by injuries, and the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary has been absolutely decimated by, well, old men.
Yes.
For lack of a better, reasoning. But at the same time, we're talking about the most overpaid defense in football right now.
Did you see the story with Shaq and his Range Rover?
I did see this, that someone had broken in and stolen his Range Rover, and they still have yet to find it. Sorry, Shaq, you're never going to find that car again.
$180,000 custom-built Range Rover, specially tailored to his 7'1", 7'2" frame.
Some chop shop.
Stolen in a shop.
How are you going to sell the pieces? This was custom made for him, unless you're planning on cutting this up and selling it to another 7'6" man.
Right.
I don't know exactly what your plan is with this.
What's funny is that they're only offering $10,000 reward to find this almost $200,000 car.
That's how the rich stay rich.
And I'm like, okay.
Again,
it's already chopped up.
Yeah, no kidding. This thing is not on the street. You aren't going to find this thing ever unless it's going to be on blocks.
And if a 6-foot guy stole it, you probably wrecked it.
You know what? That's actually probably true too. Driving that 7-foot or that Range Rover made for a 7-foot man probably was not easy whatsoever. God, it must have felt like a tractor. But this is another lesson to all athletes right now that I genuinely believe you've got to start doing the security thing. You have to. Every single one of you got to get security. It's the only way we can deter this, because these are not coincidences. I genuinely believe these are coordinated attacks on athletes when they know they're not home and they know they can get away with it.
This one was at a shop.
Was it really?
It was getting repaired and adding some things.
Okay, see,
out
that
in
part
Georgia.
I didn't know. I thought it was stolen from his house.
It was stolen from a shop out in Georgia, and he was supposed to be sent back to Baton Rouge, where he lives in Louisiana. And it didn't make it.
In trouble.
It didn't make it.
That shop is, oh no.
And
who did you leave the truck with?
Right. And we did get one more text saying, do you think Kiffin is going to leave Ole Miss? And second, is there any truth, do you think, that Nick Saban would come back out of retirement to coach LSU?
Nick Saban has been very, very vocal on the Pat McAfee show. He wants to stay retired. He is not coming back to football. Everybody needs to stop with the griping and stop with saying, we could get Nick Saban to come coach at our school. No, you can't.
I know he's got love for Louisiana, but I don't see it.
No,
I don't see it.
He's not coming out of retirement. The only way he would come out of retirement is if his wife looked at him and forced him to.
I even heard Mel Kiper this morning. He said, unless they really, really overpay him, I don't see him coming
I don't
out.
even think that'll do it, to be honest with you. I really don't. I don't think that's enough. I think he's done. I think he just doesn't want anything to do with the way the game is now, having to dance around NIL and all that type of stuff. It's not the game that he coached. It's not. So I genuinely think Nick Saban's done. And yes, Lane Kiffin leaving Ole Miss is always going to be a possibility. Although he also came out on McAfee and said he's never made a decision based on money in his life. I do think that is fair and true. However, he has made decisions based on his football legacy. And yeah, you really don't think he'd leave Ole Miss to go coach at LSU or Florida? No, he would be leaving in a heartbeat. Trust me.
I think he leaves.
And again, in the world of the NIL, the coaching staff is just as easily moved as the players are. So, yeah, I think Lane Kiffin 100% is no longer going to be with Ole Miss probably next year. I would not be surprised if Ole Miss either loses again sometime during the year and they get kicked out of the playoffs, and then he's sitting there signing a contract with Florida saying, let's go Gators, to be completely honest with you. And then before we get out of here, breaking news from earlier in the show, Aiden Hutchinson got paid, baby, by the Detroit Lions. 4-year extension worth up to $180 million, says The Athletic and Aiden Hutchinson's agent. That is a lot of money, a lot of deserved money, in my opinion, for one of the best defensive ends in football. And I'm so thankful he came back from this injury still looking like himself. I was really worried we were never going to see Aiden Hutchinson play like Aiden Hutchinson again. This money is worth it. I think Detroit's putting the money exactly where they need to in order to be successful. Between guys like him, Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jared Goff, they're going to be very, very successful for the foreseeable future. We got to get out of here, though, for the foreseeable future. We will be back tomorrow, 7 to 9 a.m., as we always are. But until then, we got to get out of the way for the great Rich Eisen. Sparky, let's get out of here.